Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I welcome you to the new video of our TESOL program, and our today's video is a continuation of our topic of ELT methods. We already know what is ELT. It is English language teaching, and we are nowadays going through various methods that can be used for English language teaching. Primarily we will discuss these three methods that are GTM, grammar translation method, direct method, and audio lingual method. Today we will talk about grammar translation method. As the name implies that it is about grammar and translation, that it is a collaboration of grammar and translation. It means that when we teach through grammar translation method, we use two aspects. One is grammar, that first we teach grammar, and also we use translation from our mother tongue to the targeted tongue, and through that translation we try to teach our students the foreign language. This is the history of grammar translation method is rather very ancient, but properly it was developed as a method, and it was given a status of a proper method in 16th century, when Greek and Latin scripts were taught in various institutions, in convents, in universities, in language institutions, and primarily their purpose was to teach religious scripts, because most of the Christian religious matter is in Latin and we know that Christianity has no liturgical language. Christianity has no religious language, but because it was spread from Rome, Italy, so there most of the religious literature was in Latin language. And as our Maulvis, our ulama have to learn Arabic language, Christian clergy people had to learn Latin language in their time. We know that is from Latin, as I told you. And the first thing about the translation, as we teach in our classes, when we teach various lessons from our books, from short stories or poems, what we do, we teach from word to word. We teach word to word translation. This is the aspect of grammar translation method. So we have been learning through grammar translation method, and we also now even teaching through grammar translation method. So the method is, as I already have told you, that it is about grammar and translation. It is detective method. That means that you go from general to specific. First you tell about general rules. So in grammar translation method, the learners of the foreign language are taught about the grammatical rules of the language, then they are asked to practice it, as it happens in our classrooms. First we teach our tenses and grammars and other grammatical aspects, then we give exercise to our students to practice them. This class is teacher centered class, because most of the time teacher is in action in the classroom, because teacher does teach grammatical rules, teacher tells about the translation, and there is very little activity for the students, although teacher makes them to use the rules in their writing and not much in speaking. But most of the time, if you compare the teacher talk time and student talk time, most of the time it is teacher talk time. The class is teacher oriented class. Other important element of grammar translation method is our mother tongue. Our mother tongue has great influence, great usage in grammar translation method, because as I told you that it is the word translation tells in the method that it is translation from mother tongue or our native tongue to the foreign tongue. So when we teach in our classrooms, we use Urdu and Punjabi and any maybe Sindhi or maybe Hindi in India, maybe Malaysian or maybe Thai or Japanese. we use these languages in our classrooms to teach the foreign language. If English is the foreign language, we translate from English to that our mother tongue, or from mother tongue to English language. And this is also sometimes a problem, because mother tongue influence is sometimes very critical for and it become a hurdle in the learning of targeted language. But these are the other elements that we will discuss in our coming videos. It is elaborated and explanatory, because as we just discussed that we have to tell about the rules and principles of the language. So there are elaboration of the rules in direct method, that will be the topic of our next video. We do not teach much about the rules, rather these are only the practice of the language, and students deduct rules from the language. But here you need to, being a teacher, you need to elaborate all the rules to the students, and then you ask the students to practice it. As in Urdu we teach them, this is the present definite, these are the symbols, rather these are this is how you can recognize present indefinite tense, this is how you can recognize that this is the present perfect tense, and so on. All this is because we need to elaborate all the principles and all the rules of the language. Vocabulary is very important, and in contradictory to direct method, vocabulary is not directly infused in the brains of the students, rather it is taught. Sometimes it is taught in the way of place, sometimes it is taught through the books and the lessons, where teacher tells about new words of English language and then translate it into the mother tongue or the native tongue. Morphology and syntax both are important in grammar translation method, and we know what is morphology, that is the grammar of the words, and syntax is the arrangement of the words. These are the detailed topics, morphology and syntax, that we will discuss in our coming videos, that will be discussed rather primarily in the chapter of grammar. This is a little home task, that after knowing about your grammar translation method, you need to tell what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of grammar translation method. You have been learning through grammar translation method. If you haven't studied grammar translation method, but you have studied grammar through grammar translation method in your primary to middle to intermediate classes, because you have been taught through grammar and through translation. So you may tell what could be the disadvantages that you faced in learning through this method, and what do you think what can be the advantages from learning through these messages. Our next topic will be direct method. Then thank you very much, stay blessed, God bless you.